Welcome to ZoomTV, the show where we explore everything that flies, drives and floats and invite you along for the experience. Well, today we're at a motor show thanks to the Rotary Club of Como to explore over 198 vintage cars. What were some of your favourite cars as you walked around that you think, Aaron, you've got to make sure you go and see that car?
Well, first of all, I think that the car that I like the best is the Mercedes 500K. I would do that.
We tell you why it's better to buy a pre-owned car from a dealer.
What are the benefits of buying off a dealer?
From the customer's point of view, you've got one that's not regulated, or dealing with a dealership, you've got a lot of regulation.
And thanks to United Fuel Injection, I'll give you the goss on our 3 favourite live events happening around the country involving things at Zoom. Now get ready to crank your engines. Are you ready, Frank?
Yes.
It's time for Zoom TV. Crank away, Frank. I've got to tell you, there's nothing better than waking up on a beautiful Sunday morning and attending a car show full of, well, classic cars and vintage people. What do you reckon,
I
Bill?
reckon that's right. Good.
I was joking, mate. There's a lot of wonderful people here.
A lot of vintage people as well, yeah.
Well, you're in your prime of your life, you've got to face it. Compared to some of these cars, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of old cars out there, Bill. There's a lot of classics.
That's right.
There's a lot of even young sports cars. You've done a good job of getting a big mixture of different cars
Yeah,
here.
we have a lot of friends in over the car clubs. You know,
Very
really
powerful
good,
Rotary, isn't it?
Yeah, very powerful. But it's really a powerful connection with the car clubs as well.
Okay, well, firstly, tell us about your event.
Well, first of all, we decided to do it 4 years ago. This is the 4th event. We approached Wesley here, and they've been nothing but supportive. Let us have the facility and been in the back and done everything. They mark out the grounds for us. They provide us with toilets. They do everything. Really good. And that's given it a big kick-start. Now, our only enemy is the weather.
So for the people at home that don't understand what Rotary is about or believe it might just be for vintage people, which it's not.
No, that's right.
What does Rotary mean to you and why are you involved?
Well, the whole point of it is joining socially to do good for society, and that's what we're trying to do. So we've become social friends to start with, and from that, this sort of thing emanates.
Okay, well, let's talk about the event. How did the event come about?
Well, we've got an old school boy here, and he walked past the ground one day. When he looked at the ground, he said, we ought to have a car show there. And of course, it's ideal because it's fenced off, which is unusual. I mean, it's a very easy place. We've got enough room to park people's cars as well as the people exhibiting. And it just slowly develops from there. And each year it's got easier and better, and the ground staff are good to us and everybody else.
What were some of your favourite cars as you walked around that you think, Aaron, you've got to make sure you go and see that car?
Well, first of all, I think that the car that I like the best is the Mercedes 500K. I would do that. But down here we've got a Chevrolet Corvette that belonged to a famous film star, and we've got a Willys Overland 24, which has just come out. It isn't actually on the road yet, but that's got a lot of history, and with a solicitor in New South Wales in 23. Things like that.
Now, if people want to get involved in future events or know more about Rotary, what should they do?
On our website, there is a facility there to go and just press a button and we'll contact you. We're getting new members at the rate of at least 1 a month now, which is really good, unlike most Rotary clubs.
And you haven't got many of them falling off the end, have you?
No.
Once they're in, you can lock them in.
The ones are coming are great. I mean, the two ladies here, one I hope you'll interview later on, they've been absolutely fantastic. They've done a huge amount of work.
That's worth mentioning as well. A lot of people are under the illusion that Rotary is just a men's club.
Oh, no. Ours is now, I would say it's almost 50-50. It's getting that way anyway.
Yeah. Every club needs good women.
That's right, absolutely. Yeah. Every man needs good women.
I tell you what, they do. There you go. Well, good luck to you. Thank you very much for having us along. Now, it's fair to say that most people believe you'll save money on a car if you buy it privately, which can be true. Well, take, for example, this 2015 GX Automatic RAV4, which has done a tad over 11,000 kilometres, had one business owner, comes with new car warranty and will cost you just $26,990 from City Toyota. But this RAV4, which has done similar kilometres,
It's also a 2015, will cost you $26,000 flat. The owner told us he believes he bought it off the original owner. It's also done mainly city kilometres, and he's pretty sure the new car warranty is valid. And he's only selling it because he's going overseas. Or is he? Well, I can tell you that everything that City Toyota says about this RAV4 is true, because they're a dealer and they have to stand by everything that they say. If you're in the market for a new car, you pretty much have two options. You can buy brand new, or you can buy pre-owned, which is a fancy way of saying used car. Obviously, you can only buy a brand new car from a dealer, but if you're looking to buy a used car, then you can go with a dealer or a private sale. They both have their positives, or do they? Now, Wayne, when it comes to buying a pre-owned car, what are the benefits of buying off a dealership?
From the customer's point of view, you've got one that's not regulated, or dealing with a dealership, you've got a lot of regulation. We're governed by the Motor Trade Association, Department of Commerce, and ultimately our manufacturer as well. Buying from a dealer guarantees you clear title, so when you purchase the vehicle, we can assure that there's no encumbrances from finance companies or anything like that, so you're guaranteed that the car that you own and that you've purchased is yours. So there's a lot of protection for the customer to transact with a dealership.
Now, the first one makes sense to me, Wayne, because obviously all businesses out there would be aware there are rules and regulations they have to adhere to operate. But the second one, the Motor Trade Association, how do they influence what you do day to day?
So it's like we've got another layer. So we have the Motor Trade Association regulating our dealership, and that's obtained through a dealer licence. But not only that, we have actually a sales licence and also a service licence, and then the dealership has an overall licence to operate and trade. So we want to ensure that every transaction is to the customer's satisfaction and that they're happy, so that we can get that repeat and retention of business.
Which tells me the buyer dealing with a dealership is going to have, well, a better experience.
Then Toyota actually independently survey that. So it's a customer satisfaction index that they do independently on every transaction with the dealership. We're a 5-star service dealer and a 5-star sales dealer from inception. So ultimately we're trying to look after our customers.
Now, Wayne, you've been involved in the industry for a long time.
That's right, close to 24 years now, Aaron.
Okay, so in that time, what changes do you think have made the biggest impact to the industry?
I think as an industry, the internet and how that's evolved and how that will integrate with our business has probably been the biggest change that we've seen. So no longer do you have to try and go from yard to yard to yard to actually look at a range of vehicles. You can now surf the net, as they say, and look at all different cars and scrutinise those comparisons. The danger you've got out there with a private vehicle, Aaron, is that there's a lot of ghost cars or fake cars out there on the internet that are there to lure your money away, and a transaction obviously that we know will never happen. The benefit you get obviously with dealing with a dealership is that the vehicles are real, and when you deposit your money with us, that's not going to disappear.
It's clear to me that what people do get when they deal with the dealership, and especially City Toyota, is peace of mind.
A franchise actually gives you that guarantee of a transaction and a dealership that will back its product. But not only that, you actually get access to a range of options. So Toyota has its own motor insurance, its own finance facilities, its own extended warranty options, and also we have Toyota certified used vehicles.
So Dean, I've just caught up with Wayne and he's told me the benefits of dealing with a dealership over buying privately. This particular car we're in is one of the cars that you retail. It actually looks like a brand new car.
Yeah, well, we particularly on the vehicles that we do stock at City Toyota, we make sure that all of our vehicles go through our workshop. We do a full 110-point service and safety check on every one of them. We're obviously not going to let one car go out of our dealership with our reputation on the line. So,
well, it kind of makes sense that you're not going to sell a car that's going to be coming back and causing you problems.
Absolutely.
A car that you choose to sell as a pre-owned car, where do you get the stock from?
Generally, it's either traded through our new car department or through our used car department. We have a buyer that buys regularly out of the Toyota auctions, so a lot of new factory demos that we buy, and obviously tenders through fleet departments that we pick up the occasional vehicle. Once again, all of the cars will go through that strategic 110-point service and safety check before we even put it onto the dealership.
And I suppose that's something that you really see at City Toyota. There's a lot of pride in what people do.
We've built a real family-run business. Obviously, Wayne Smith being at the helm, being a real true family man. He's installed that into our business from get-go. We've got a very, very good reputation, and we've got an excellent sales team that have been together for a long time. And even our admin, they do wonders in the background. And obviously our service department, they all should be patted on the back. So we treat everyone like we treat our own family.
Someone said to me, it's not the problem, it's how you address and fix the problem that you should judge a company or a person on.
And that someone would have been our dealer principal, Wayne Smith.
It actually was.
He's always drummed that into me that If there's ever a problem, you fix it, 100%.
To find out more, head to citytoyota.net.au or follow the links from ZoomTV.
Welcome back to ZoomTV. I'm still here at the Rotary Club of Como's motor show, and I've bumped into the owner of a very beautiful car. Earl, how are you?
Good, thank you very much.
Now, this is your replica 500k, 1936 Mercedes, yes?
That's correct. It's a great opportunity to come along to these displays and show it to people that haven't seen this sort of car. This car was manufactured by a perfectionist in Pomona, California at the Classic Factory. They are a very sought-after replica, and it's very popular at the car shows such as this.
And how long have you had it?
I imported it in 2008 and then converted it to right-hand drive and basically restored it.
I love the curves of the older cars. I love the doors, how the doors open backwards, so you've got more than enough room to climb inside the car. I love the design of the windscreen, and especially, I just love the big nose at the front, although I suspect it would make driving the car very awkward having such a big front end.
It's beautiful to drive. It is very, very comfortable car. It cruises very well, and they're made from an LTD chassis, so the consequence of that is they cruise along very nicely.
A little bit sluggish, I imagine.
Yeah, it's not overpowered, but the original cars...
As long as you've got the
only,
chassis and not the engine from the old LTD, that's all.
Yeah, it's not sluggish, but it is comparable to the original 500Ks. They weren't overpowered. You know, only some 120 kilowatts, which is not a powerful car in this day and age.
Okay, well, it's a pleasure meeting you, Earl. I love people that just have special cars. Good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Staying with the car theme of replicas, I'm now with Frank Owen, the owner of this XJ13. Frank, awesome looking car. I got to tell you, it looks a little bit unreal, actually.
Oh, well, we've just taken the body off so people can see what's underneath it.
And what is underneath it?
Well, the engine and gearbox and exhaust pipes and all that stuff.
Now, there's a bit of a story with this car. You actually built it, didn't you?
Yeah, we started building in 1990 and finished it in about 2000.
Did you find it was a hard job to do? I mean, obviously it took you 10 years, but then to go to the next level and get licensed?
Mostly you're searching the world for pieces, you know. The gearbox came from England, windscreen from England. We sort of just bought the bits as we needed it.
When you say we, I'm imagining you and a mate or you and a family member?
Myself and my son.
Oh, wow, so great project to do with your son.
Yeah.
And what's your favourite part of the car?
The engine, I suppose. This engine is built into the car as part of the chassis.
Yep.
So the chassis joins onto the engine, then the wheels join onto the back of the engine. So if you have an engine that vibrates a lot, it would vibrate the whole car. So we managed to avoid that one.
Frank, you and your son should be very, very proud. Thank you very much for talking about your car and the journey that you went on. Now, the great thing about these events is you meet people that have beautiful cars, but you also meet people that have, well, a car with a beautiful story. Now, you've got to tell me about the story behind this car. I can see Robert Wagner.
Robert Wagner. And Natalie Wood, yeah. I rang his PA. Well, he had to go through about 3 to get to him, and I'm still waiting to talk to him now, you know. It's a long time, but it is original, and the PA, he's wanted photos of the car and his signature, and it's all correct. So I'm very happy.
So you're like, this is whose car it is?
It's his car,
okay,
which is now my car.
Now, it's fair to say that the Corvette would have to be one of the most romantic cars that you could actually purchase and drive.
Yeah, I think I had in 1971 the first Corvette in Perth,
so
years ago.
So you're trying to say you're the true
no, I'm not,
romantic Perthitarian?
Oh, no, but in those days, to have a Corvette in the 70s was pretty special.
A lot of cars, as we walk around, I've heard people say, oh, look at the radio, it doesn't have a good radio. Because if you've got a car like this, the radio stays off and you just want to listen to the car, don't you?
Well, when I bought the Ferrari, I said, hey, it's got no radio. He said, wind the windows down. There's the radio outside.
There you go.
And then I thought the next Ferrari bought, it said, it's got no air conditioning. He said, 2WD. I said, 2WD, 2 windows down. So now, of course, they're different. They've got radios, they've got air conditioning, but these, no air conditioning.
That's
they do have
now
radio.
most of the people that buy those cars are buying them because they can, not because they want to.
Of course they can, yeah.
There you go. Well, I tell you what, you can
Thanks.
say to yourself, well, you're a great person with these 2 cars.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you've got a Ferrari as well.
When you get older, you enjoy your life a little bit, and you think you're still young.
Well, I'm guessing you're enjoying your life.
Absolutely, 100%.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Brian.
Aaron.
Great to meet you.
Lovely, mate.
If you're passionate about things that fly, drive or float, there's no better place to share that passion than attending a live event. Thanks to United Fuel Injection, the only place to get more torque out of your diesel, here are our 3 favourite live events happening around the country.
For Melbourne fans of vintage and classic motoring, this one's for you. It's the latest Motor Classica meet for 2015. This event is all about rare and exotic classics, historics, vintage and collectible machines from decades gone by. Come and celebrate 50 years of the Shelby Mustang and 50 years of the supercar, or even check out the collector car auction. It runs all weekend from the 23rd to the 25th of October at the Royal Exhibition Building in Melbourne. If you're into motorbikes and inspirational stories, then you'll definitely want to meet Alan Kempster, a disabled rider with a passion for living life. In 1990, keen bike racer Alan was involved in an accident that left him without an arm and without a leg. But that couldn't stop his love of riding, and today he races against able-bodied riders and loves every minute. So come and meet Alan at Flowerdale Hotel in Victoria on Saturday the 24th of October and hear his inspirational story and support his inspiring passion. And in WA's Southwest, the Ignition Bunbury Auto Show is back for another year. This event is open to anything with an engine: classics, hot rods, exotics, lowriders, street machines, bikes, and plenty more. It's only $10 to display your vehicle, and there's plenty of prizes and a free sausage sizzle on offer. Plus, all profits on the day go towards the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So get down to the Bunbury Recreational Ground on Sunday the 25th of October, have some fun and help someone make a wish.
So they were our 3 favourite live events happening all over the country. Now, if you belong to a club and you have an event coming up, we'd love to help you give it a plug. All you've got to do is go to the website, zoomtv.com.au, click on the events page, tell us about the event, upload some pictures, maybe a video, and we'll do the rest. After the break, we catch up with Dale Wood, V8 supercar driver, and find out his greatest fear. And you're never gonna believe it. Welcome back to Zoom TV. You're just in time for this week's City Toyota Celebrity Hitchhiker. I'm now joined by V8 supercar driver Dale Wood. How are you, Dale?
Very well, thanks for having me on.
Oh, but it's not me, it's Perth. Perth's invited you over here. Tourism WA thought, well, if you're going to come over, let's get them wet. And you've been out there with 2 other crazy drivers having a crazy time on the Swan River. Tell us about that first.
Yeah, they came and threw us in a nice little jet boat and spun us around, and it was pretty good. I got a bit of salt in the hair, so...
Who was, in your opinion, responsible for all the crazy stuff?
Well, I thought Lee had a pretty good go, actually. He was, I think he knows what he's doing behind the boat, and I like to think I do as well. So I was sitting there and tightened up the belt when Lee took the wheel, and managed to stay in and not get thrown out.
Now, how does that go? As a driver yourself, you're in control of your own car. It must be hard to give the control over to somebody else, especially a competitor.
I hate the passenger seat. You can ring my wife and ask about that if you like, but yeah, and then especially getting in the passenger seat when you've got another so-called driver at the wheel. No, you never like that, just like they wouldn't have liked when I was at the wheel.
Yeah, I like the way you say so-called driver. Bring it. It's going to be a big weekend racing.
We all like to pump ourselves up. Yeah, no, it's when you get on the track, it's pull the visor down and we're all out there. There's 25 blokes going for that top spot.
One thing that I suppose I'm learning as I do more and more with the V8 supercar drivers, who are a great bunch of people, by the way, is the commitment and the team that's behind getting you out on the track every week. There's a lot of people involved.
Yeah, there is. There's a massive amount of people involved, and a lot of those people never actually reap the rewards as much. But look, it's great. We're the ones that get all the television and get all the show when it's all going well. We're also the ones that cop the brunt when it's not going too well as well. But there's a big group of people behind us that are working really hard and that do a good job, and they're just as important as anybody else out there. So,
well, it's a great way to look at it. I suppose But focusing everything to the driver, what do you think a driver possesses to make them a great driver? How would someone out there go, I do this well, I think I could be the next Dale Wood?
Yeah, it's there's a whole list of things that make a driver, and it all varies, I think, from driver to driver as well. So, but we're certainly out there, you know, very competitive people, train pretty hard, because if I'm not training hard, the bloke next to me, he will be, and you don't want that to come showing up at the end of a race on a long 250k race.
Okay, well, I'm gonna test your brain. You ready for that?
Oh,
it's time for
my brain's not big for testing.
Okay, well, it's a couple of seriously little easy questions. You ready?
All right, hit me with it.
Fast five. First car you ever owned?
Holden Gemini, which I rolled in the paddock, and Dad was most upset because it leaked engine oil all over his grass.
What is your opinion of the best car on the road and why?
Volkswagen Combi. You can put your surfboard on top, you can put a heap of stuff inside, your mates, your family, whatever. You got Eskies, absolutely the best car ever made. Get me a 50 split screen, I'll be a happy boy.
My best mate had one of them, and the best thing about them is that the horn doesn't work, you just double the clutch, blow out the engine. It's beautiful.
Exactly.
What is your opinion of the worst car ever made?
100%. I'd have to say, I think they were a Lada. They were a small four-wheel drive, ugly as sin looking car.
Now, what is the car you currently drive?
I've got a Holden Commodore SS, which is one of the little niceties that come with my role, and that's fantastic. It's a wagon.
And now here is the question of all questions. What is your biggest fear?
Going bald.
Thanks a lot. That's the same. Mine, actually. That's mine. Now, thank you very much for coming on the show. This is what we like to call the end of the show. If you'd like to find out more about Dale, make sure you go to zoomtv.com.au and follow the fast links. Plus, if you're there and you're part of an enthusiast club and you've got an event coming up, we want to hear about it. Go to the events page, give us all the details, tell us about the event. We'll give it a plug. We might even come along. Until next week, bye for now. Thanks for watching. And remember, whatever you do, make sure you do it safe. And that's a wrap.